Hello everyone! Welcome to our Green Drink Scale online discussion. Today we will be discussing American environmental documentary, namely Planets of the Humans. So maybe I'll talk a little bit. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, sir, there's some maintenance over here, but no worries, we'll speak louder for this. So let me brief you about this documentary. It's actually an American environmental documentary. It's written, directed, and produced by Jeff Gibbs, and it's promoted by Michael Morse. So Morse released it on YouTube from free viewing. Now already gone up to I think 9 millions of views from free viewing on the 21st of April. You guys know what day it is? It is the eve of the Earth Day. So yeah, so this documentary is very controversial. Also, like people being criticized as the information is misleading and the content is incorrect. So it basically argues on the renewable energy such as solar energy, biomass energy, wind energy are not as sustainable and renewable as they're portrayed to be. So for this online discussion, we would like to hear from you what you think about it. So right now, maybe we go for the first clip that Simpson has prepared. We'll go for solar energy first, right?
Well, okay. Let me just talk about a little bit about Green Drink Scale first. Right. So Green Drink Scale is we have every 2 months we have one event to have a networking event so that everyone all these green people can just join together and just network, share ideas. We have talks, events, and so on. So so while now, since it is an MCO period, so we can't have physical events, we will just have this online event maybe until the end of the year. So over here with us right now, today Austin and I will be the moderator, and that's why we are so close together. And and okay, and also over here we have Jason, Shimei, we have Daniel, Ku, and Gregus. Gregus is our advisor. And also we have Bernard. Bernard also advises a lot of things. And we have Jain, the Bernard secretary. But and also over here we have a new member, Siting. Siting, maybe you want to show your video if you want. But
hi.
Hi. Okay, right.
Hi everyone.
So okay, all right. So Siting, okay, just to let everyone know, today our style we will have a short clip being shown, and then afterwards this is a documentary discussion session. So afterwards we'll just have a discussion. Anyone has anything can just come. Just jump in, right? Just discuss. Okay, so let's go to solar energy. Our first clip. Okay, so for solar energy, a lot of people think that solar energy is good. It is there's no carbon dioxide emission. It's generally very good. But after you watch this documentary, or after I watched this documentary, I was like, wow, there is actually a lot of dark side, which when people talk about solar energy, they never talk about it. So for example, for those people who haven't watched this documentary, you guys might think might think that just like me in the past before I watched, where solar panel is actually made of silicon. So I'm just thinking, silicon, there are plenty of silicon in all the beach out there. So why don't we just use all? Isn't that the material? No. So let me play you a short clip, and for those people who haven't watched it, you guys can have a better idea on what we are sharing about actually right now.
So, hi, I saw Vanessa just joined. Hi, Vanessa. Welcome to this group.
Okay, so let me share about solar energy clip for the moment.
The illusion that alternative technologies like wind and solar are somehow different from fossil fuels. Well, I hear a lot of the times that solar cells are made out of sand.
Have you ever thought about solar panels? The main ingredient that makes them work is silicon or sand.
This is the raw material chips are made of, sand.
They don't use sand at all. So they use, I'll show you what.
Spring Spruce Pine, North Carolina, regarded as the finest source of high-purity quartz in the world for semiconductor, solar, and communication applications.
Sand, because sand has too many impurities. So you start with a very high-quality quartz and a very high-quality coal. And then you put those two together into an arc furnace and you melt them.
The quartz is then melted with coal in a large furnace at temperatures of up to 1,800 degrees.
So you need more coal to do that. So I get another coal out. So when we melt these together, we get silicon metal and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide just goes off and you got rid of the carbon, you're left with silicon metal. This is not clean coal.
Okay, all right. So now, for us who have, for those who have watched it, it is just a recap to us. So, well, at first I thought silicon is everywhere and solar panel can just be made from that. But turns out no, we still need to do a lot of mining, a lot of explosive here and there, a lot of destruction actually. So yeah, do you guys have the same feeling? Well, everyone over here, just let me open to you all. What do you guys think?
Me, Bernard.
Yeah, sure.
Hi everyone, my name is Bernard. Of course, before watching the documentary, I always thought that solar panels made of silica sand. It's made of sand. Why not? The silicon dioxide is renewable and stuff. But after watching the documentary, I knew that the complexity of solar panels being made. There is a layer of it. This layer it determines the efficiency of the solar, and all this layer is made of very sophisticated minerals. And wow, yeah, looking at the extractions volumes and looking at the peak of solar panels today, I think it's something for us to think about. If we want to look into renewable energy. However, I'm still a strong believer of solar panels. This is just a matter of awareness, I think. We are educated now, and now we are more cautious and we are more alarmed with the things that we are buying, especially when we talk about solar panels. Yeah, that's my view. That's my view.
All right. Cool.
When I actually first hi everyone, my name is Cool. So when I first watched the video, I'm actually quite surprised that they actually burn more coal to produce the solar panel. So I'm just thinking, we are using in the market they are using something that's non-renewable to produce something that's renewable. So I'm just curious and asking myself, so is the end products renewable or not? We are ended up using more non-renewable stuff to produce something that considered as renewable. So the change comes that I have a question on that point of saying, so solar panel, is it renewable or non-renewable? That's my view on basically when I first watched the video. So I'm like, let me think of a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And also, Siting.
Hi, Sitting here. So I think this video is a very good video. It's also give me a shock about the hidden side of the renewable energy, especially solar. So it gives most of people a different perspective about renewable energy that we used to think is green, but actually it might not as green as we thought. And talking about some of the information in that film, I think some information is indeed correct and give us more thoughts about it. But there are also some misleading information about the solar efficiency. They say only like 8% or 10% nowadays, but actually nowadays can go up to 15 to 20%, which is misleading to people about it. And also they're talking about the carbon footprint of the solar panel are actually more than the coal power plant. But I believe when the director, when they said this, they didn't really compare apple to apple. They didn't compare the construction of the coal power plants, the mining of the coal, the process to burn all the coal, compared to the mining of the quartz, the construction or the solar material and solar plants, power plants, all this, if you really compare to apple, I believe somehow coal is still have more damaging to the environment compared to solar. Definitely, solar is, as what Ku say, it's questionable whether it's really something renewable and really absolute benefit to the environment. No, I don't think so. I think they still have downside. But if you compare to both, I think somehow solar is still have their benefit in terms of environment, and the harmful to the environment impact is less compared to coal. However, I think this video is also give us a very good opportunity to think further about all the information we receive nowadays through the media, journals, or newspaper, whether we should just receive whatever information fit by the business or marketing strategy, all this information, or we should every time when have all this information, we should think further, have a wider view and more open view to all the information we receive. I think this is the ultimate information or objective that this video wants to bring to us, rather than to argue which one is better. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
I really agree with you, Siting.
Yep.
I actually, me and Bernard, we actually watched another podcast of Michael Moore.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually talking about this documentary stuff, and they were saying that some of the data might be a bit outdated because it has been taken quite some time ago.
Yep.
I also very agree that there are certain information is quite backdated, and also they are only showing the dark side. So and this is my own opinion. This documentary is only showing the dark side of renewable energy. But I think personally, well, this is the things which I really do not know. I'm taking solar energy master, but I do not know this kind of thing as well. I was like, wow, this is such a good documentary. But anyhow, I believe solar energy is a very good starter for this discussion, because in solar energy we let me just bring to another point. Like in solar energy, they were talking about there's this intermittency and energy storage. So, well, is it? I have this question. Our previous government, they have actually pushed for solar energy in. There's a large scale solar energy for feed-in tariff or something like that. Then energy metering. Is it actually worth it? Just want to ask everyone. Yeah, does anyone has any?
So
maybe Gregors can chip in. Gregors, you written something here in the message.
I also watched the documentary. I think this argument that.
Gregors, I think we can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay, maybe you come back to me.
No, we can't.
Later.
Okay, later. All right, Siting, you have something to
Yes, actually, my educational background, I have a doctorate degree of environmental engineering. So before that, I did some research on the renewable energy, especially feed-in tariff, something like that. So before the scheme is called feed-in tariff, which is actually quite a good deal for even for home user or a large-scale commercial solar farm, because the price is very attractive. The now shift to net energy metering. For home user, the payback period is longer. So for home user, maybe it's not so attractive in terms of monetary. But for large scale solar farm, is still very in terms of payback period is still quite attractive for as a business. yes, as a business is for the large scale solar commercial building or solar farm is actually quite attractive. But not so much on the home user because the payback period getting longer with the current scheme. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Siting. Gregors, want to try?
Yeah, can you hear?
No, we can't.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe we'll just read out what Gregors commented.
Sure. Can you?
Yeah. So Gregors actually found a source from George Morbier. Is an environmental writer for The Guardian. So on average, a solar panel generates 26 units of solar energy for every unit of fossil fuel required to build and install it. While for wind turbine, the ratio is 44:1.
Okay. All right. Gregors, do you want to try? No. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's quite an interesting fact over here. Oh, there. All right. Well, do anyone has any other short sharing to I mean that you guys want to share before we move on to the next one?
Me.
Sure, Daniel.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I think like this kind of the technology which is green, what we going to think about the technology is not we supposed not to take the how we view good technology as a two option like either good or bad, either yes or no. We have we actually we must judge a technology with a scaling like partly good or partly bad or totally good or totally bad. We have a scaling. It's not like two option only. So we can with the scaling we can use it on a appropriate way. Yeah, so is to have a detailed judgment on every technology we use because there is no perfect technology even for green. So yeah, this is my opinion.
All right. So I guess information is power over here. All right. Let's move on to the next. But before that, let me just check with Vanessa. Vanessa, you have joined us. Perhaps you want to turn on your video, and if you have any comments or I mean your opinion, just jump right in. Let us know.
Sorry.
Right. Okay. So Vanessa, we are going to proceed. I'm going to pass it to Austin. He'll be talking about wind energy.
Yeah, correct.
So
Wind energy is about like similar to solar energy. Why I say so? Because like when there's a sunlight, you can generate solar energy. There's enough of wind, not necessarily just wind. You must have enough of wind to generate for wind energy. So right now we'll play you video clips that to show what have been shown in the video, the documentary.
Okay.
Ini tak tak.
Not the kind of lecture. Concerned about how the construction might affect the mountains they love. I joined them for a tour.
It's going to be 21 turbines.
21.
Yeah. On this in this project. Yeah. The estimate was maybe there would be 3 full-time jobs.
If the goal is to try to make Vermont a leader in climate change, I appreciate looking to the sky in the hopes that we can do that. But more importantly, I'm personally looking at the ground thinking this is not the kind of legacy I want to leave to my kids. When I was a kid, we'd go hiking in these woods. We would be able to drink from the waters down the hill here. And now you have to question that. How long are these towers supposed to last?
20-something years. 20,
I know, it's just
wait.
nanoseconds.
20 years.
Oh, it's a nanosecond in the time of energy.
Does anybody consider this is mountaintop removal for wind instead of coal?
Yeah, and we've even had people say if you can do mountaintop removal in Kentucky and West Virginia for coal, then it's about time that the rest of the country shared in the mountaintop removal too.
Yeah, so yeah, we have seen the turbine, wind turbine construction site that's very huge, right? So speaking of wind energy, I still remember that actually in my previous university, UMP, like University of Malaysia Pahang, there was a four wind turbines. I mean, they're still existing over there. Yeah, we are showing it right now. So yeah, okay, yeah. So we have four wind turbine. So it was the initiative, a national project initiative. So it was initiated by the MOSTI, and Sirin Berhad. So, but then unfortunately, because the output didn't meet the expectation and the energy saving and the impact wasn't significant enough. So this has become the declaration or the trademark of my university. So yeah, so if you've got any chance to visit UMP, maybe you would like to take a photo and check in on Facebook, like show, oh, I've been in UMP. Yeah.
Oh
So
wow.
so have anyone seen a real wind turbine before? Maybe
Yes. Yes.
yeah. Maybe
I
whether you
didn't,
can
I didn't know
share.
that. I didn't know that, Austin's your university has the wind turbine. It's just like when you go to KL, you must visit KLCC. So meaning the next time I go to Kuantan, I
Yep,
must
correct.
visit UMP wind turbine.
Correct, yeah. Because
Okay.
UMP, like that time we thought that because UMP is located at the east coast, so where we get more winds than other parts of Malaysia. So that where's the idea come from? Yeah.
Okay. Great. For me, my experience is I have a lot of experience seeing a real wind turbine before. I travel a lot to Europe, so I've seen a lot of all these wind turbine farms. They are situated on top of the agriculture farmland, and for an Asian like me, as a Malaysian especially, I've not seen a wind turbine in Malaysia before. Oh no, actually there's one in Pulau Perhentian or Pulau Redang. So going to these countries to see this farm is it's really amazing. The wind is turning and then you are snapping the photos in the car, and all these Europeans are looking at me, what you are doing, it's such a norm for them, but not something normal for us. For us, maybe solar, solar just picking up. For here, we don't have enough wind to generate enough energy. Yeah.
I see. So I think we have a Danish over here, where Denmark has the largest wind power in the global. So maybe he would like to give some ideas since he has seen it since he's young.
Hi, I'm
Gregor
from the country
Gregor's from the country wind power.
So actually, the
commercial
first
windmill was built by a group of
commercial
hippies
windmill was built
in
by a
Denmark
group of hippies
because
in
they didn't want Denmark to
because
go
they
for
didn't want
nuclear
Denmark
power.
to go for nuclear power.
And they built
And
a
they
2
built
megawatt
a 2
windmill
megawatt
back
windmill
in
back in
1975.
1975.
And that was bigger than
And that
any
was bigger than
windmill
any
at
windmill
all,
at all,
by
by
a large
a
margin.
large
And
margin.
then the
And then
industry
the
saw, wow,
industry
this
saw,
actually
wow,
works.
this actually
And
works.
then
And then the
whole industry
whole industry started that way.
So,
And
as quoted
as
in this
quoted in this
article
article I just
sent
sent
just
just
before,
before,
a
a
windmill
windmill
produces
produces
44
44
times more energy
than
than it takes to make the windmill. So
it's a
it's a
great
great renewable technology,
and
by
by
2050,
2050,
solar and wind is predicted to cover about 50% of the energy consumption in the world.
Oh, thanks, Gregor, for sharing. That's interesting. Yeah. So, anyone has any idea of this wind turbine? When you see wind turbine, what comes in your mind? Like you say, oh, it's impressive, it's very huge, or it's very fascinating, very nice. It's make it your very Insta-worthy. You want to take a photo of it.
Me.
Yeah, Shimei.
It is Insta-worthy when I went to. Oh, sorry, my name is Shimei, by the way. It is Insta-worthy when I went to Taiwan. I saw a lot of wind turbine near the coast. But it struck me in a way that I would be imagining the birds that fly in the sky and any other organisms that travel via the in the sky. So I'll be wondering whether they will be hurt by the blade of the wind turbine, and how are we striking a balance with other organisms. So that strikes my mind.
Yeah. So that is one of the disadvantages I learned from my theory. Yeah. So it hurts the birds. Yeah. So yeah, any other people want to share on this wind energy before we're moving on to next one?
Maybe I can comment again on the
Oh, we hear you loud and
these
clear.
birds being hit by windmills. So it is a problem. Oh, good. But compared to amount of birds that's hit by cars every year, it's next to nothing. So don't blame the windmills unless you also stop driving.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So yeah. Any other more thoughts on it?
Okay, all right. Perhaps let's move on to the next one. All right. So next, we'll be talking about biomass. So biomass is in general turning organic material into fuel, but there's lots of types of biomass, and for example, like municipal waste and what else? Agriculture residues, wood waste, and sewage. So, well, when we talk about biomass, what do we think? I mean, what will we think is the source? When I after I watched this documentary, there's something very shocking to me. Let me show to you, everyone.
Claim they're just using forest residues, but actually a great deal of what the McNeil facility and lots of biomass facilities burn is whole trees. As you can see by this pile that's stacked right outside of the facility, these are trees.
It turns out that the biggest source of green energy in Vermont is something called biomass, burning trees to create electricity.
This is definitely not the way, and that the first step is actually looking at our lifestyles and how we can reduce our energy consumption. This is all the ash that has varying levels of toxic metals, a great deal of radiation. These trees have been absorbed.
All right. So after watching this documentary, I was very shocked. It's like, wow, we are saying that biomass is good, but over here we are seeing that the whole live tree, like tons of them, they are being cut and then they are just being fed to the biomass plant. So is this renewable? And also there's another part where they say that there's one incinerator right beside the kindergarten, and well, this incinerator, they are just burning what was it again? The waste, the municipal waste, the trash, the daily trash. But they don't have enough temperature, so they need to feed in rubber tires. They burn tons of rubber tire chips. So, well, who else feels shocked as well? And do you agree with this?
Me.
Yeah, sure, Vanessa.
So actually, I'm Vanessa. I'm actually working as an environmental engineer in Ding's poultry processing plant, where we actually process chickens, and also I take care of the chicken farmhouse. So one thing when I go for biomass, what is that, because of course we did explore the option of biomass chicken, and even though we have up to around 21,000 chicken per farmhouse, and we do have around more than 100 plus farmhouse, we still do not have enough biomass. I can tell you the frank, we do not have how much. No matter how much you count, the chickens cannot produce so much biomass. Seems like the documentary about the elephant manure, you cannot produce that much. So what happened is that we actually replace, not only we use manure, we use the litter bedding, such as rice husks that people do throw, and we put it inside the biomass. We do not really have an incinerator. We have more like a composting plant to make it a better fertilizer. Of course, it's not towards energy more, but it's another type of substitution. So that is what I normally do, and this is one of my projects. So when I heard about this documentary, I was interested to give an opinion because I do have experience in this. But yeah, so that's all from me.
But Vanessa, just a follow-up question. How many chicken coop do you think is needed for this biomass plant?
Actually, we require, because it depends on the chicken life cycle. Normally, the chicken you eat, it grows around 40 days. So of course, when you have a shorter cycle, you are able to power the biomass plant always. But whenever you have like a 38 cycle day, what happens is that you have a stoppage. You have a period where the chicken is growing and the biomass is not in. So that is the problem with a biomass plant, and that's why we actually go for substitution such as litter bedding, which is something in Malaysia, rice husk is very available, and we actually use this rice husk to absorb the litter moisture. So it's a two-way thing. Normally that's how we do.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Vanessa. Right, anyone else has any opinion? Shimei.
Hi again. For me, working in the waste management industry, I hope to have some successful waste to energy plant in Malaysia. Why? Because whenever our customers, when they have a lot of wood waste, especially wooden pellets, we kind of run out of solution like where to send this wooden pellet. So sometimes we have to send it to the landfill. Sometimes we are lucky that the current facility that collects wooden pellets, they can repair it and then they can resell it. But sometimes there's just too much for them to accept further. So I also know that there are some traditional food manufacturing plant. They actually use wood as a fuel to burn as a fuel to boil, and I think they make tofu using that using wood as a fuel for their boiler. So in a way, wood as the source of fuel is still better than fossil fuel. And if we don't perceive biomass, if we don't try to change biomass into more capitalized or trying to make money out of it, but rather we use biomass concept to have it as part of our manufacturing processes, I think that could be a more sustainable way to use wood, to use biomass, sorry.
All right, thank you, Shimei. Right, Ting, you got something?
Yes, exactly. Actually, in Malaysia, there are a lot of what we call in-house incineration plant for the processing factory, especially for the palm oil processing plant. Felda actually, I think more than 70% of the Felda palm oil processing plants, they have their own incineration plants which they burn their palm oil biomass, such as palm oil, the husk of the biomass, the kernel, or this biomass from the palm oil process, and they burn it and supply to their own processing plants as a fuel. However, they're not able to fully utilize fully on the biomass. They still have the fossil fuel supply from the TMB, but I think that is something very good practice instead of using fully on the fossil fuel. However, we cannot go large scale for the entire nation on biomass, because exactly what Samir said. First is the amount of the biomass is just not sufficient to supply nationwide, and also the biomass also not as efficient as the coal or other fossil fuel in Malaysia. And another thing is in Malaysia, actually we have 4 municipal solid waste pilot plants in Malaysia in 4 locations. I think back in somewhere in 2010 or 12 already have the pilot plants. But most of the 4 plants, I think out of the 4 plants, all of them are only operate maximum like 1 year plus, then it stopped working because of a lot of technical issue, the waste is too moisture, or all these kind of things. What I want to say is, we see a lot of example, not only international, but in our Malaysia, we see a lot of so-called business or company, big corporate. They claim they want to move toward renewable energy, so they try this solar, they try that wind, like what in UMP, they try municipal solid waste. Whether they really have the heart to go for green, or whether they're just doing this because it's good for their corporate image, good for the marketing or business, because this is a new trend, so everyone do, so we also try. I think that is something very questionable. I believe those pilots win in UMP, pilot municipal solid waste in Malaysia, they didn't really investigate whether this is something that we can really use, is it worth to invest. They just invest because we bring good image, or good for the media, good for the marketing. So in that sense, I don't really support if we do this just for marketing or this. We should do this because we believe in it and we have a heart on it, not because of profit. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Thanks. Thanks, Yiting.
Welcome.
Okay. Right, Bernard. Quick one.
Yes, of course. I'll do it as quick as possible.
Nice.
Well, when you talk about biomass, we should look into the resources, the raw material. And let's look into the America. What they do is they cut down the secondary forest, maybe their plantations of forest, and then they burn it as a biomass. And I think this is the same in the Europe and other regions as well. But for us in the tropical regions, and so fortunate or maybe unfortunate that we have a lot of palm oil biomass. And this palm oil biomass basically has zero value. And it is a very good raw material to generate electricity, which we generate into the boiler and to the turbine to generate electricity, which most of the factory, they do practice this biomass. But however, what I dislike about, especially my experience here in Malaysia, what I dislike about the Malaysian manufacturer is they do not treat the residue of burning the biomass properly, and it's just like the black suits flying off. Sometimes when you pass by, I still remember I had a very bad experience when I go through the Dengki Road. I think Daniel knows best. A lot of palm oil, manufacturer there. So the air is so bad because of the burning of the biomass. And the second point here I would like to speak about is if the biomass raw material, it's a waste, like palm oil, it's fine for me. But if it is a cut down forest, like what the American is doing, or maybe a primary forest in Malaysia, which I heard before, it's very bad because we are destroying the biodiversity of nature. So I hope that is quick, Simpson.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so Chris, want to comment something?
Yeah,
sure.
I have an even quicker one. Just a fun fact on biomass. So, because we're talking about solar panels, so the efficiency of a solar panel is about 20%. So that means 20% of the solar energy that hits a solar panel becomes electricity. The efficiency of biomass is only about 1%. But of course it's very cheap, right? It's just greenery growing. But yeah, just fun fact for a planet that's already full of humans, where we fight for space. So biomass is basically where.
Okay, thank you, Gregors.
All right, thank you, Gregors. Okay, just for anyone who just joined us, we are having a documentary discussion. The documentary is called The Planet of the Humans, and it is made by Jeff Gibbs, and the executive is Michael Moore. Okay. So if and there's anyone who is while watching in Facebook right now, you guys can actually leave comments and we will actually compile some of the questions, and if there's time, we try to answer it. All right. So next, we have covered up until now solar energy, wind energy, and biomass. And later on, we are going to talk about activism and, if there's time, profit motive of this renewable energy. Well, this documentary shows a lot of bad side of this renewable energy, and we are quite shocked after you watch it. So, well, that's let me pass it over to Austin.
Yeah, okay, next we're moving on to activism. So I'm sure everyone else know a lot of, the famous environmental activists such as Bill McKibben and young Swedish environmental activists like Greta Thunberg. So let us watch the documentary.
Using forest for biomass. Biomass is renewable, biomass is sustainable. And I'm with clean water action. We don't really have a stand on it. If the director of the Sierra Club was here, she'd be able to talk your ear off about it.
I'm the director for the Sierra Club in Pennsylvania.
Does the Sierra Club support or not support biomass?
I'm not totally prepared to talk about our policy on biomass today. Our position is somewhat nuanced, so I just want to be, careful not to.
So we are talking of the old oil economy trying to maintain itself now for another raw material, the green planet. The only reason corn and soya has been planted for biofuel in this country is the subsidies make it profitable. I think the big crisis of our time is our minds have been manipulated to give power to illusions. Must be shifted to measuring growth, not in terms of how life is enriched, but in terms of how life is destroyed.
Right. So do you agree on mind has been manipulated by the power of illusion? Yeah. So okay, on this one thing, speaking of activism, we have learned a lot of know about all these strike to ban coal power plant. But if we ban coal power plant, then we must have replace it with something, maybe renewable energy. But in fact, most of it they will replace with another fossil fuel, which is natural gas. So it makes not much difference on it unless the renewable energy can supply as much as coal, and it will be as cheap as coal. So have anyone here joined any strike or protest on this environmental thing before? I remember last year, around September, there was one climate change strike in KL. So has anyone joined it? Hi, Gregors.
Gregors, we can't see you, but go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Can you see me now?
Yes, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I was actually in climate march last year. And that was the one that was organized globally by Greta Thunberg, the Swedish young activist. So I took part in that, and there was maybe about 300 people, so maybe okay for Malaysian standards, but it really should be a lot more people, right? If you looked around globally, there was actually very big strikes all around the world. And sadly, I looked back in my photos and I could see that 10 years ago, I also took part in a climate change strike. And that was before the COP16 meeting, which was held in Copenhagen, in my hometown of Copenhagen, and where Barack Obama had just been elected president 2009. And he was finally, America took climate change seriously, and there was a hope that we could finally get some global deal. And back then we were even fewer people, I think maybe 50 people. But the message was the same, climate action now. And 10 years later, we are still saying the same thing. So we really need to, ramp up our efforts and get this to become a bigger movement in much of the world.
Yeah, thank you, brothers. Yeah, correct. I think this year, 50th anniversary of Earth Day, the theme was climate change as well, right? Anyone has any idea of this? I saw Bernard want to share something, is it?
Yeah, can I share something about my activism journey?
Yeah, sure. You can have your time.
Okay. It was I think my great journey started I think now more than 11 years, maybe 12 years ago. So I was fortunate to join Eco Warriors together with Vegas. We were the tree hugger people. We planted a lot of trees. Even until now, I'm still planting a lot of trees. Could be thousands of trees I've planted because now I'm inspiring people to plant trees. And throughout the years, I was fortunate and I was selected the best activism events that I had attended many years ago was in Brazil. I was selected to go to Earth Summit in Brazil in 2012. And if you remember, we were talking about cutting down the subsidy of petroleum because back then renewable energy was seriously very unaffordable compared to today. And one of the main reasons the activists was attacking, including myself, is we want to remove the subsidy for petroleum. And we go down the streets, it was such a big thing because it's the UN Earth Summit, you know. And but throughout the years, I think I've grown and become matured. I seldom join activisms on the road anymore. But what I do is I'm still activist. But what I do is I choose very seriously on what I purchase. I really like if these things. I knew that this company has a lot of environmental fraud, and this company accused a lot of environment stuff like Mother Nature, forest, or whatsoever. I'll choose not to buy them. I will check. So this is maybe it's a new term of activism. By choosing by purchase by making decisions from your purchasing power. I think it's also as powerful as the activisms on the road.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like everything have to find a balance also, right? Yeah. Yeah. Anyone want to share some on this activism?
Yeah. I didn't have activism experience. Maybe future, I'm not sure. But I can share a friend of mine that have this kind of the activity. He's a college student from the UK, so he's studying law in UK. So when his same break, he back from UK to Malaysia. He take a hunger strike in front of the House of Parliament. So he just sit at the front of the parliament. He just didn't just don't eat any food or drink or just So he just want to like urge government to put more attention on the crisis of the climate and some maybe environmental policy. Just asking government to have a serious look on it. So after that I have a chance to talk with him. So this is what he share his experience from what he's observed from the UK. The UK people, there are a lot of around 3,000 like they are protests for the waste that produced by the England and just disposed very not organizingly. So this is what he observes, and so he trying to just to make it. But the key point is he's doing alone, and this is a spirit. I'm not going to judge how it will affect the government or how it will bring how much of effect. But this is a spirit. I think is from the heart to the action.
Okay, yeah, okay. I was going to ask, was he alone? Because I was listening that you keep saying he, but not them. Okay, yeah, okay, interesting. So maybe we can move on to the next topic, which is a profit motive. Sorry, I saw. Oh, actually, Bernard has some photo to share.
No, Gregor's shared something. Maybe you can show.
Photo to share.
I'm not sure if I know how to share it, but I sent two photos 10 years or 11 years apart. Sorry, 10 years apart of climate protests in KL, where I took part. Yeah, in both. Yep, I see the screen, but it's not my photo though. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So this one, this photo I took in 2009, when I think it was the first time there was really a big global climate change movement, and this was organized by 350.org. So actually by Bill McKibben, who is also part of this documentary we're discussing today, and he's been criticized, not rightfully so, I think. So he and that movement established these demonstrations around the world. But back then in Malaysia, I mean, you have the ISA or all these things. So doing a protest where you didn't get the permit and some more in front of Petronas Towers was quite risky. So we quickly dispersed after this. And no one got arrested. And I just, because I'm a foreigner in Malaysia, so I didn't want to risk anything. So I just pretended I was a tourist taking some photos or something like that. Maybe you could go to the other photo. Let's see. Yes, that one. So this one is at the Merdeka Square, and that, as you can see, is last year. And that was the Greta Thunberg sort of a climate strike, where we marched from Sogo down to Merdeka Square, so not very far. And there was about 300 people for that. And this was during the haze season. So actually people are also protesting the haze, even though it's not directly related to climate change. So it's good to see more participation, but only 300 people out of about 30 million Malaysians is not a lot. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Vegas.
Vegas, I also think that the climate strikes that's happening today, it's lesser than back then, those days when we joined. Yeah, it's smaller in groups these days that I've seen. So I'm not so sure what's happening. Yeah, so this is some of our observations because we have been doing this for more than 10 years now. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think maybe back then it was more exciting and something new, and there was a lot of passion. But then if you don't see much action on the political front, for example, I noticed every time you have an election in Malaysia, climate change is not part of the issues on the agenda being championed by anyone, maybe a little bit except for the last elections. So yeah, so if the population doesn't see any action, you sort of maybe lose a bit of that momentum and enthusiasm and belief that going out and demonstrating will actually make a difference.
Okay, let us move on to the next topic, which is profit motive, right?
All right. Well, profit motive. Let's think about who are the ones who are actually funding all this renewable energy. Well, who has the money? This is the most common question, and in this documentary, it is being said. It is being shown. Let's show you the documentary.
It was long past time for me to come to grips with the other elephant in the living room, the profit motive. The only reason we've been force-fed the story, climate change plus renewables equals we're saved, is because billionaires, bankers, and corporations profit from it. And the reason we're not talking about overpopulation, consumption, and the suicide of economic growth is that would be bad for business, especially the cancerous form of capitalism that rules the world, now hiding under a cover of green.
Today, Bloomberg Philanthropies is making, I'm happy to announce, a new investment of $30 million in the Beyond Coal campaign. We have more. I'm glad to say that more than a dozen additional funders have committed to match that $30 million.
And who were these new partners? One of them was Jeremy Grantham, billionaire, world's leading timber investment advisor. They were not investing in trees to turn them into nature preserves.
All right, they are not investing trees or rather forests to turn them into nature preserve. Rather, they are turning them into energy or biomass. So all these, a lot of times we actually we heard that the renewable energies, they are actually being funded by, well, a lot of times gas giants and so on. The thing is, my question is, do you agree on that? And they are the devil that we see, fossil fuel devil. Do you agree with that? Anyone has any thoughts? Right, cool.
Yeah, I was talking about profit motive. I think one word coming to my mind is that we call, as a business world, it's called marketing misleading, where people tend to brand it as saying, let's take an example from a documentary, Tesla or even Apple. They are saying they are 100% sustainable way or renewable way. So it's trying to make the business, it's more marketable for the public, where it's may somewhat mislead, where it's not the truth. Like what Shirin mentioned just now also, it's like they make their brands better. So at that short clip just now, the investor that invested billion or even millions is just trying to make their name, or even their brand name known by everyone. So that's the motive behind. I think another keyword is that the awareness. We should be aware of what is the truth behind everything, rather than just saying the marketing, creating illusions for all the public. That's what I come into mind when talking about even biomass, even talking about profit motive. The marketing is leading to lead a confusion or even illusions for the public.
All right, we are creating confusion or illusions. Right, any other people has any thoughts? All right, Daniel.
Yeah. Actually, I think because it is the corporation profit motive. The profits is mainly people who can who provide them a lot of profit. So I think the key point is the people have to upgrade themselves to uncover the coating that are covered on the surface of what any true or what. They have to identify that is a coating, there's a maybe green coating or what coating. So they have to when they have to identify, they have to take an initiative to evaluate all the info that they're not supposed to like info feeding by this corporation marketing strategy. So we have to keep alert. Have to we have to fact check on every info. Have a compare the info among with the other different authority, so we can see why is why is this company and the other company, what is the different, who is the right one. So they have to keep thinking of that. So yeah, so this is the important is the curiosity to asking a question on this big corporation or any authority. We have to question on them, not just like follow and don't be so kind to them. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, information is power, but at the same time, I have this question where renewable energies, it is something that requires a lot of fund, a lot of money, and if it is not this kind of people, the gas giants, or let's say the timber company, who is going to do this? Like, is it Seating just now? She mentioned that uh, I can't remember Seating or Melissa. She mentioned that if it is a household solar energy,
Yep.
it is not. It is just not profitable. The return on investment is too long, and
Yeah, too long.
we need a solar farm, a bigger one. But where does all this money comes from? If not those gas giant, who?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, my own personal view is I don't mind who invested for renewable energy, whether it's the fossil fuel company, Shell or Petronas, or the timber company, because all these renewable energy, we know that they all have their downside. Solar, the raw material may be very expensive, the process of it is not very clean, and wind might not very the carbon footprint is high because of construction of the wind tunnel or this. However, all this renewable energy, they are still in the developing stage. We need funding to do more research, to find more sustainable material, to increase the efficiency. All this research require funding, and no matter who funded, whether it's the fossil fuel company or timber company, I believe their motive, they have their own motive. First is for their marketing. Second, they might also see the long-term potential on renewable energy, because one day the fossil fuel will be run out. They need to continue their business somewhere. Maybe renewable energy is their new trend or the blue ocean to sustain their business. No matter what, it's good as long as I think it's not bad to have funding from those companies, because we do need funding to make things more efficient, better, to make things better. So in that way, I don't mind who exactly fund those renewable energy, but I think in that video also misleading people to blame those companies, saying that they do this just for marketing, which I don't truly believe this is the only motive. Things always have the pro and cons. Right? The video show most of the dark side, but actually there are bright side or some other better motive that didn't show in that video. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Seating. Okay, all right. I believe there's a question coming in, right? It's a comment. Just wondering. It's pretty long. Okay, let me just read it. Well, Frederick Mangoff shared a link. Okay, so he mentioned, I'm pretty amazed at the backlash that this film has got. What I've noticed is that people think it is an attack on renewable energy, but it is not the case, obviously. This attack is in the profit motive of current business structure that makes renewable energy less than what it could be. Anyone who understands how economics works would totally agree that profit and sustainability don't go together. No matter how much people try to connect the two, it is much more an attack on our economic model than this, that this empowers people to be more sustainable. The key to this documentary is from the 70-minute mark. That's where he cuts the cheese, that how profit affects any substantial gains in creating sustainability, including renewable energy. Attacking the documentary is stupid, all right? That only shows how in it people are and arguing points to leverage empower change. You don't attack things like objects. That is already your weakness. First ask, what would be the point in lying, and then ask, if you like what he says, what solution do you have to move on from it? If you're just attacking the documentary, then you are just lying to yourself. Yeah, I do agree. Anyone has any comments on that?
Yeah, I actually have a comment. Like, we are actually not attacking the documentary, but instead we are giving our point of view, right? Review, like just to point out what's the information is misleading and incorrect. We just want to don't want to confuse the public and just want to let the public to know the truth.
Okay, all right. Bernard has something to share. Bernard.
Yeah, I have comments. I disagree with what's his name again? Frederick about his comment about you cannot find when you talk about profits, which is the goal here, and when you talk about the earth, you cannot strike the balance. But I disagree. Why? Because this is what we should do. We humans, we could chop down the whole forest, and at the same time we could plant the whole forest too. So what we need to do really is to understand the balance. So at one hand, you need profits, which is the goal here. And on the other hand, you want to protect the environment. So we should choose the decisions on finding the balance between these two. And more importantly is when you talk about balance, awareness is the most important element here. So we should get ourselves more educated or more reliable in the information that we are pursuing or on making progress that we call as humans. So finding the balance is very, very important. There is no one extreme like this is more heavier at one side. We should learn how to strike the balance by making great awareness from our inner selves. So that's my thought about it.
All right, thanks, Bernard.
I just have a fun fact that for a few months back, I actually have a thought of idea saying that a lot of people is making money, making profit, then only they start doing movement. Just maybe like the example that the billionaire in the documentary mentions. But what if we can do green movement to make profits? Would it be better for us? I mean, it may be a dream now, but in future there's possibility where I'm also trying to put it on that way. So maybe it's achievable, maybe it's not. So it's just a question. It's a fact. Just a fun fact.
All right, thanks, cool. Okay, all right. Let me just open up to one or two. Well, it's an open session. Do you have? I mean, what's your opinion about this documentary as a whole? Let's just have a one or two short one. All right, Jason, you have something to share?
Okay. Thanks, Jason. So, in this video, I learned that the green thing that created in the Industrial Revolution cannot really solve the environmental problem now. What the Industrial problem caused us. So, it's not really like the perpetual machine that you come in and you get what to get back on the top to sustain back the perpetual motion. So it clear my thought on that. And but there is still nice people who helping the earth around and help us to kill the environment. And I believe there is good side of our human being. There's not that dark. Although the industrial revolution is trying to control the environment. So for me, I try to not be biased after the video done or after finish the watching video. But for me, this video only cover the UK part and US part. So it and a bit Germany. So we can refer on other data based on other country as well. For me, Bhutan is a good country to refer on how they be more sustainable on their nation and help others country to provide electricity extra for them too as well. So that's all from me, and get back to you, Simpson. Thank
All
you.
right, thanks, Jason. Perhaps Gregus, he has something to share.
Yes. So first of all, the documentary, I didn't think it was that good because it got a lot of facts wrong. But what I, in a way, thought was interesting about the documentary was it said it didn't really offer any concrete solutions, and it basically encouraged us to maybe we need to rethink everything. Some people were interviewed about, the only solution is to reduce population one way or the other on planet Earth. And that is actually in a way true, because in many respects we live in a sort of societies where growth is good and economic growth has to go up and up and up. Just look at for Malaysia Vision 2020, the most concrete goal is to get a certain GDP per capita by year 2020. And we also have to grow the population and so on and so on. But we live on a finite planet. So even a lot of environmentalists around the world are actually unwilling to talk about population and this perpetual growth mode that we are in. So I think, even though it didn't go very much into depth on this issue, but I think this is one of the taboos that needs to be addressed. And I'm not saying that we need to kill off people, but we could, welcome policies where we don't encourage people to have more and more children, for example, because most countries at the moment actually give a lot of incentives for people to have more kids. So this could happen naturally, but even more importantly, we need to reduce our consumption. And I think here we need to get some proper climate taxation into place. At the moment, we are paying way too little for energy, for example. The polluter doesn't pay. I mean, we're living on the credit card. We, for example, petrol in Malaysia should, if we were to pay for the cost of petrol, petrol should be about 4.5 ringgit per liter. At the moment, I think I just filled up my car yesterday, is 1.6 ringgit. And of course, if we start paying the right price, then fossil fuels become more expensive, and we automatically look for alternatives. So there's there's so many things we can do actually. So I don't really know where to begin.
All right, thank you, Gregus. That really sinks into me. I would like to end this discussion by quoting the words from Jeff Gibbs. Well, he said, "We must accept that infinite growth in a finite planet is suicide." And well, we need to accept that less must be the new norm, new more. All right, and also, well, it is not the carbon dioxide that is the enemy here, but that's destroying the planet. It is us. Yeah, I really agree with him. So, well, in this documentary, he has actually showed a lot of the dark side of renewable energy. But to me, it is something that is not being shown like commonly. So perhaps over here, I mean, to me personally, it tells me, I mean, it reminded me that, well, for certain things we will, I mean, there are a lot of informations, and we should actually check it out if you are interested in it. Okay, Jason, don't stop yet. Austin has something to share.
Yeah, so okay, last but not least, I would like to take this opportunity to promote our page, like what we are, I mean, the social media. So I'll share screen. Yeah, okay. First thing, so for your information, we actually have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. So you might want to join in the group, and then if you have any sustainability or climate related, then you can search green drink scale, and you can post it in our group for more discussion. Next, this is our website, the green drink scale. So after every event, we'll post the summary of the event, and we'll post it like the past event are all in here. And next one is our, okay, since MCO, we have created our new Instagram page. So we will share a lot of environmental related issue, not just promoting our event, but also like the global issues in the world. So you might want to follow us for more information. Sometimes we will just post story, like today we have posted some of the story just for the information. And lastly is our YouTube page. It's our YouTube lah. It's a channel. Yeah, sorry. So this is our channel. So for every webinar or the things we have done, we will have a recording. So we will post it up here. So okay. So if you like this, then just give us a
like.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe us. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Good night.
Thank you everyone. And thanks Gregors, thanks Bernard, thanks Koo, thanks Yiting, thanks Daniel, Shimei, Vanessa, Jason, and Jain. Thank you all.
everyone. I enjoyed it. Bye.
All right, bye bye.